Classified US documents leaked this week. We told you about it in detail. They laid bare many military secrets and they upset many allies of Washington. The question was, who did it? And now the Americans have an answer, and frankly, it's quite embarrassing for them. The suspect behind this leak is all of 21 years old. What's worse, he's a junior employee of the US Defense Department. All that his job role requires is a high school degree, a driver's license, and up to 18 months of training on the job. That's all. It doesn't sound like the credentials of a mastermind, does it? And this man pulled off America's biggest defense leak of the decade. Washington is going to have a hard time explaining how this happened. Here's a report.
The FBI has arrested Jack Teixeira, a 21-year-old Air National Guardsman. Federal agents came in an armored car, swooped in on him at his home in Massachusetts. The neighbors were shocked.
I think it's nuts. Nothing like this has ever happened around here. Like, this is a very small community. Everybody knows each other.
Teixeira is suspected of leaking America's classified defense documents. He could face charges under the Espionage Act, and each charge can carry up to a 10-year prison term, with each leaked document treated as a separate count in his indictment. In other words, he could be facing a very long jail sentence. But let's put this in perspective. This was the biggest US intelligence leak in a decade, and it was committed by a junior Pentagon officer. As far as the hierarchy goes, he's being called an insignificant National Guard. He shared these documents and pictures on an online chat room among friends and acquaintances, some of whom are teenagers. And this leak discloses important classified information. There are in-depth assessments of the Ukraine war and information on how the US collects its intelligence. Later, he also told his friends to delete this information and lay low. This is embarrassing for Washington, to say the least, and raises the obvious question: how safe is America's sensitive information? Can the so-called most powerful nation of the world keep a secret? For now, this is what US President Joe Biden has said.
There is a full-blown investigation going on, as you know, with the intelligence community and the Justice Department, and they're getting close.
But he has also downplayed the matter.
I'm not concerned about the leakages, and I'm concerned that it happened. But there's nothing contemporaneous that I'm aware of that is of big consequence.
As of 2019, about 3 million people had the permission to access America's classified documents. Sounds like oversharing, right? It has become protocol after the 9/11 attacks. They believe information must be spread relatively widely to avoid a similar attack in the future. But experts think this creates problems because the US loses some control. It can't keep track of who spreads what information and when. It's understandable that national security officials need to do their jobs. They need access to databases and raw information. But let's remember an important tenet in the intelligence community. Information should only be accessed by people who need to know. Need is the key word here, and it goes against laying a nation's secrets wide open, even if it's among those with security clearances. Maybe Washington is learning its lesson the hard way, because the Pentagon is under fire and tightening its circle of employees and contractors, awaiting a review of its access and procedures. The US is hoping it works because its vulnerabilities are now for the world to see.